All right, everybody, back in Boxing Manager. First fit of the night, we got Gervonta World Eater Williams versus Alexander Budanov from the Target Center in Williams' home state of Minnesota. On the undercard, we have McCreary. We have a great fight here. McCreary versus Demetrius Johnson. Not that one. Legend of the Save. Win over Michael Carl, among others. Jose Edwards is on this card. Young Phil Green and a few other young prospects, including Matthew Ganaway. First fight of the night, Leroy Berry versus Bryant Thompson. Leroy Berry, all knockouts so far. And it's another one in the first round here. Good start to the heavyweight campaign for Leroy Berry. 7-0. Matthew Ganaway versus Jose Morales. Jose Morales, maybe? Jose or Joseway, I can't tell. It's spelled like Joseway. Almost gets the knockout. Ganaway. And we pile on pressure in round 4 and get the stoppage. 3-0 for Matthew Ganaway. Norm Zuski versus Louis Dutchover. Norm Zuski has to be the most iconic Smoke That Ute fighter for sure. And he smokes that Ute right there, eh? Norm Zuski. Canada, eh? We got to start the Mexican gym at some point soon in the save. Stevens gets beat up by Starling Almonte to start the fight, but then lands a knockdown. Count of 8, too. It wasn't a flash knockdown. He really rattled Almonte and knocked him down bad. But this is a much more even fight. And Almonte is really able to hit us here. I don't like that. Rafael Stevens jabbing and moving and doing a good job. 24-8 in that round. Really landed better, and then he dominates round 6 and gets the stoppage. Almonte does not throw a punch. And Stevens now 5-0. Bruh. Come on. All right, well, Phil Green loses to Dean St. John. That was pretty miserable. He just didn't do a good job. Got knocked down twice in the first round and didn't recover in round 2. Edwards versus Juan Gonzalez here in the light heavyweight division. Jose Edwards. Still looking to rebound. Needs to rack up more wins under that disappointing string of losses after his undefeated start. And he's got another win there in round 3. Good stuff there from Jose Edwards. Gabriel McCreary versus Demetrius Johnson. Hopefully this isn't a step back for McCreary against a tough opponent. High-level stuff there from McCreary. Dominant round 2. Figures out Johnson pretty much immediately. And there you go. Gets the finish in round 4. Gabriel McCreary, his 31st professional win and his 25th professional knockout. And the World Eater looking to go to 21-0 against Alexander Budanov. Dangerous Russian fighter. Big second round for Williams. We're not going to push the gas too hard. Budanov is landing on us okay. I think this calls for a little jab and move for Williams here. Yeah, we need to keep him away from us. Get him burning that energy here in the second half of the heavyweight fight. But we don't need to. Williams absolutely dominates round 6. And he's 21-0. It's 26-1 on punches there in round 6. Only 2 power punches. He really just started comboing off on Budanov. Just started popping him. Doesn't matter if you take anything off the shots as long as they still hurt and still land. And Gervonta Williams is the scariest heavyweight we've had so far in the save by a wide margin. And forgot to mention but we have a couple huge fights scheduled here. Manuel Soto going for a championship for the first time in his career at 18-3. The WBC and IBF Cruiserweight titles currently held by Nathan Goncalves, who I sort of see as a beatable champion, but I don't necessarily know if Soto would be the one to do it. Goncalves has him on stamina. They're both great defensive fighters, but fortunately for us, Soto is the better puncher, and he's the bigger man. So I'm optimistic heading into this one, Soto versus Goncalves. Great undercard, though. Barboza versus Akateli Mai is going to be a great fight. Rico Hartman, Fred Morales versus Rocky Simpo. Robert Filipone versus Jose Rocha. Carlos Patterson versus Abraham Luff. Max Rice versus Miguel Mercado way down the undercard. Tony Ali taking on like a 50-fight vet. And Robbie Maison versus Christian Cota is a crazy fight at the bottom of the undercard. So this is a crazy stacked 10-fight card. And I think we've got another one here in Fitch versus Murrieta. This might be the best card I think I've ever booked. Andy Fitch going for every belt you could possibly ever conceive of. Could you imagine Andy Fitch as an undisputed champion, but he's fighting the only other super welterweight champion in the world, Daniel Murrieta. And I honestly think Andy Fitch has a really good shot here of becoming an undisputed world champion. So, Yeah, that's probably the highlight of this episode. One would think if Andy Fitch becomes an undisputed champion, I'll be really devastated if he doesn't. He's got a lot of advantages over Murrieta, as we can see here. Tony Seals against Walter Ramirez. This is going to be a tough one. Walter Ramirez, a power puncher and a defensive fighter, but he can't take a shot at all. Cartagena versus Fabio Franco. Even Rodriguez versus Orapov. Brian Mitchell fighting Rigoberto Grant versus Danny Cook. Vashon Parrott versus Joseph Esquivel. Castro versus Conwell. 10-round fight way down the undercard. Huge heavyweight fight. Raymond Pena versus Festus Mashala. Yeah, this is like that Saudi card from a few months ago. It's just super fights. Look at this one. Adorno versus I can't even pronounce this dude's name. Sitlo something. Clearly a Thai fighter. And speaking of Thai fighters or fighters from Thailand, we have Visetkit versus Luis Rodriguez in a huge flyweight fight here. Round one, good start by Rodriguez. Combined 50-0 between these two. 28-0 versus 22-0. Somebody's O has got to go. And for a minute, it looked like Visetkit, but Rodriguez with a strong round. They're both just go. This is a war. They're both going at each other. Let's just recap. Round one goes to Rodriguez. Round two goes to Visetkit. Round three goes to Rodriguez. Round four, narrowly to Visetkit. Rodriguez, the more damaged fighter, heading into round five. Another very even round. This is such a close fight. I'm just picturing them like standing right in front of each other and just like blasting each other like that Japanese MMA fight. You guys know what I'm talking about. The Japanese MMA fight that starts and like the two guys are just blasting each other in the face with right and left hooks and just trying to kill each other from the second the fight starts. That's the kind of vibes this fight was giving. But lately, Visetkit's been pushing the gas pedal down. Rodriguez is in trouble. He's got a 28-0 record to defend. He's the much more tired fighter. That's a big round from Rodriguez, and he's got Visetkit more injured. This is a classic, man. I don't think he did enough to even it up, but Rodriguez has been taking things real serious here the last couple rounds. And he has a big last round as well, and Judge 1 gives it to him. Judge 2 gives it to Visetkit, and Judge 3 gives it to Rodriguez by split decision. Man, talk about splitting a hair. I would have had no problem with a draw. You better hope that fight gets rematched. Man, oh man, Visetkit loses his undefeated record on some, I mean, maybe not on some BS, but that was a close fight. Everybody in Thailand is not going to be happy. The Thai boxing fans are not going to be happy about that one at all. Luis Rodriguez retains and stays undefeated. Wow. Carlos Tanco from Puerto Rico versus Juan Cordoba of Mexico. Two storied boxing countries here facing off for the WBC, WBA, and WBO featherweight titles. It's a great first round from Tanco. Another good second round from Tanco. Cordoba fighting back a bit in round three, but it looks like he's just on the ropes in this fight. Ooh, he does better damage there in round six. Uh-oh, look at that. Round five, I mean. Round six, he gets a knockdown. Cordoba with a comeback effort here. Look at this. He's got Tanco tired. I don't even know if Tanco won that round. He definitely didn't win that one. Yeah, this is Cordoba's fight. What a comeback by Cordoba. And Juan Cordoba, that was impressive. That was a very impressive fight in a world title fight. For a guy with one takes punishment to step in there against a guy who on paper is a better puncher and go down in the fight in the first couple rounds and then absolutely dominate and knock him down twice. That was very impressive by Juan Cordoba. Wow, look at that. I did not see this. And another victory for the O'Malley haters. As O'Malley loses his IBF WBO heavyweight belts to Andreas Pasiev, who is a fighter I think we've talked about before. But yeah, it's nice to see O'Malley get knocked off because he's overrated and sucks. And Andreas Pasiev is now a 3-belt world champion. Hell yeah. We actually have a good heavyweight champion again. All right, let's see what happens in this division from now on. I'm happy. Michael O'Malley haters, you have claimed another victory. And by the way, Boban Petrovic still clears on paper. I don't care. I know that he lost to Michael O'Malley. I still don't care. He's better. 22-0 super bantamweight champion. And yeah, looks like it. Had a pretty fantastic year. Points victory over Joshua Martinez Morales, one of the GOATs. Ernesto Majares is KO'd in round 3. And then Sutor from Thailand is knocked out in round 4. And check this one out. We got Martin Castro versus Rob Hermosillo for the super flyweight world title. Rob Hermosillo formerly stepped up to face Castro and was KO'd in round 11. Let's see how he does in his second shot. Can the kid from Queens take out the super fly GOAT? Battle of a first round. Hermosillo breaks his nose in round 2. Martin Castro is not playing a single game. Round 3, 32-2. And Martin Castro takes Rob Hermosillo to the cleaners. This time it's in round 4 instead of round 11. And all that work for Rob Hermosillo. And Martin Castro has just been getting better and better. And now he's 30-0. And Fred Morales is somewhere contemplating a weight change. Because Martin Castro just still seems completely unstoppable at 30-0. And yeah, Arturs Margetis versus Pasiev would be an unbelievable fight. Giovanna Williams, of course, here too, and Miguel Caraway. Danny Snow still lingering around also. James Ray still here and still very talented. So the heavyweight division is loaded, man. Loaded. Wee Sun Judd also. We're gonna schedule a fight here for Williams, and it might be against Wee Sun Judd. He's one of the guys that might be a little bit of a. We might need to give him a little bit of a softer opponent just for now. We'll see who we pick to fight Williams. Did Mohammed Benton fight Williams already? No, yeah, let's do this. Yeah, we're gonna put Gervonta Williams up against Mohammed Benton. I think that's the better. I think that's a good matchup for him right now. I said Minnesota was his home state earlier in the episode. His home state is actually Wisconsin. Let's see, Gervonta Williams. Yeah, Kenosha, Wisconsin. I don't know why I said he was from Minnesota earlier. Yeah, there we go. Brian Mitchell is from Minnesota. I was getting that mixed up. I haven't recorded this in like a week. I haven't recorded Boxing Manager in a while. All right, here we go. Time for the absolute mega card of all time. Fitch versus Murrieta from a sold-out Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. $300 just to get in for this banger. 10 banger fights in a row. Let's go. Ortiz Adorno facing, bro, Nathafon. I'm just going to call him Nathafon because I know that's how you pronounce his first name. Alberto Ortiz Adorno versus Nathafon. Rough start for us so far, but here comes Adorno. We got to use this energy. Let's pile on pressure. See how much damage we can do. Now we're just empty. That was probably a mistake. Let's go to the body while we possibly still have energy. We damage him a little bit. Let's smother inside in this round. And we're going to have to actually expend some energy here in one of the final rounds. We haven't scored any dang points, so I think we're probably going to just lose this fight. So we're going to have to look for KO here in the last round. And that's a terrible first fight of the night. As Ortiz Adorno gets cleaned out by Nathafon. That was terrible. Pena versus Festus Michela. Come on, let's pick it up. Come on, Raymond Pena. There we go. Ooh, big knockdown to start round 2. Can we get the finish in round 3? Yes, sir. And Raymond Pena with our first win of the night. Hell yeah. Raymond Pena with another win at super lightweight. Raymond Pena's on a nice run right now. Ricardo Caltra versus Andy Conwell. Some nice heavyweight shenanigans. Round 1. They're punching each other in the face, and they're doing it really, really hard. Man, Cottrell, they're both on the brink of getting stopped. Let's just go for broke. Let's just go for broke here in round 5. And we almost get finished. 15 punches in a row for Conwell there. And right as he's about to get stopped, Cottrell comes back with 13 punches in a row and might have even won the round. Crazy, crazy fight so far. We go on cover-up for Cottrell, who again almost gets finished. What do we do here? Let's go for broke. Why not? And we do finally get finished. As Ricardo Cottrell, he just took too much damage there from Andy Conwell. He wasn't hard enough to hit in that fight, I fear. And the power just didn't quite translate enough. He did some damage to Conwell, but ultimately not enough. Vashon Barrett versus Joseph Esquivel. One sec. Let me just make sure that did Ricardo Cottrell retire? No, he's still all right. Cool. Vashon Barrett versus Joseph Esquivel. Vashon Barrett looking to continue his undefeated run. Does not win either of the first 2 rounds. Gets a knockdown in round 3 and then gets significantly damaged at the end of round 3. Esquivel gets off the deck unhappy and beats Barrett up a bunch. Let's see if Barrett can survive. This is a big challenge. Before I can even get the words out, he lands a 1-punch KO to start round 5. And Vashon Barrett just might be special. That was a special KO. That was beautiful. He got asked a lot of tough questions there. Wasn't scoring much, and then landed that quick 3-punch combo and knocked Esquivel out. Awesome work there by Vashon. Rigoberto Grant versus Danny Cook. Rigoberto Grant been a little bit of an up and down tale in the cruiserweight division so far, but it's always good to have a fun cruiserweight fighter, regardless of wins and losses. It's always a division that gives us entertainment. And Rigoberto Grant piling forward now, chasing a stoppage, and then he gets knocked out. Was Lion go to the body? I hate go to the body sometimes. Danny Cook, who isn't even really a power puncher, wasn't even landing that well on us, gets a KO. And I'm worried about Rigoberto Grant's ability to take punishment at this point. His chin is not good. His on the canvas clearly betrayed him there. He didn't get up from what couldn't have been that powerful of a shot. So, yeah, there's worries about Rigoberto Grant. Maybe he needs a weight change down. And Brian Mitchell, the East Bethel Bomber. It's been a rough day for us so far. But I have faith in Brian Mitchell to get it done if I have faith in anybody to get it done. And there we go. Round 3, Brian Mitchell. Still bombing. Ricindo Salas, no challenge at all. Eben Rodriguez versus Oripov, tough fighter. Not particularly good hands. Eben Rodriguez, this should be easy work for Eben Rodriguez, who has struggled a little more than we may like at light heavyweight. And he's not doing enough damage to Oripov. He needs to just, I'm going to stand and trade. We're clearly the better fighter. We're clearly the better boxer. Just plant your feet, stand right in front of him, and out punch him. Didn't work in that round, but we've got way more energy. And we're dominating this fight on the card. So, Eben Rodriguez. Looks like a unanimous decision. No, with 16 seconds left in the fight, Eben Rodriguez gets a knockout. And that's his 20th professional win at heavyweight, which is always impressive. Hopefully, Eben Rodriguez can keep holding on. But with that chin, that takes punishment, that stamina. Yeah, he's going to have to finish. He's going to have to get better at finishing. He can't go into the 10th round too much against those higher level guys. Eric Cartagena. Exciting, undefeated fighter. Still a little bit of growing to do. Fighting a tough Puerto Rican in Fabio Franco, who wins the first round. Close second. Third to Franco. Cartagena yet to get started, and there's the damage coming in round 4. Round 5 is a banger. Cartagena wins it, though, and he finishes it in round 6. No punches from Franco, no resistance, and that's the finish for Eric Cartagena, who advances to 17-0 at welterweight. Another welterweight hopeful in our stable. And the real deal, Tony Seals versus power punching Walter Ramirez. Let's see if Tony Seals can crack Ramirez's chin. Ramirez doesn't seem to take punishment too well. His chin has been cracked before, and it's been cracked again now. Tony Seals with another KO, his 25th career knockout. And on to the main event of the evening. Fighting out of the red corner, representing Baltimore, Maryland. I gotta check what belts each of them have. Hold up one second, guys. Because this is an undisputed title fight, and they both have different belts. So let's see. Fighting out of the red corner, representing Baltimore, Maryland. His professional record, 33 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw with 30 wins coming by knockout. He is the reigning, defending WBC IBF Super Welterweight Champion of the World, Andy Flick of the Switch Fitch. And now, fighting out of the blue corner, holding a professional record, 24 wins, 6 losses, and 1 draw with 21 wins coming by knockout. Hailing from Zapopan, Mexico, he is the Champ Magazine, WBA, WBO, Super Welterweight Champion of the World, Daniel Murrieta. All right, let's go. Fitch versus Murrieta. Can Andy Fitch become a 5-belt undisputed world champion? Rough first round. Doesn't look like it right now. And he might be about to lose the 2 belts that he has. We got to cover up here in round 2 and try to counterpunch. Fitch can do that. It's more good work from Murrieta. We're going to go back to natural style. And Andy Fitch gets the KO in round 3. What a comeback win from Andy Fitch. The cover up in round 2. He makes sure he didn't take as much damage as he did in round 1. He starts landing counter power punches. And then in round 3, he chases the finish and gets it. And what a win there from Andy Fitch. And still, the undisputed Champ Magazine, WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO, Super Welterweight Champion of the World, Andy Flick of the Switch Fitch. And how about that for our first undisputed champion of the world? Oh, ye of little faith. They said he was a cherry pick. He was Andy the cherry pick Fitch. He was 0-3 in title fights. He was a nobody. They said he was too small for middleweight. They said he was too small for super welterweight too. They said he didn't hit hard enough. They said he wasn't a good enough boxer. They said his nickname was stupid. Well, now he's the undisputed champion of the world. Suck it. Andy Flick of the Switch Fitch. Undisputed world champion. And we've got an undisputed strawweight title fight between Farouk Samadi of Iran versus Jesus Valenzuela. This got to be the biggest day in Iranian boxing so far on the save. The first big Iranian fighter we've seen. Valenzuela pouring it on. Samadi managing to just hang in here. He's got some power shots. Valenzuela bleeding from the nose in round 5. And Samadi is still hanging in there and still doing work, but it's another round win for Valenzuela. A close round there in round 7, a close round in round 8. Zamadi is staying in this fight, and it's a big round 9 for Zamadi. Valenzuela now the more tired fighter. But it's a big round from Valenzuela to answer back. Zamadi the only guy with energy left. They're both almost been stopped, and look at this laundry list of injuries here. And Valenzuela, I thought he wasn't going to get the finish there, but he does in round 11. He finally gets the stop. Finally, just too much for Farouk Samadi. Fighters really can be the most dangerous right after they've hit that 0% energy. They've just got that little secondary burst left in them. And that's what you saw there from Valenzuela to get the finish in round 11. And it's Manuel Soto versus Nathan Goncalves time from Suncorp Stadium in beautiful Brisbane, Australia. Lots of iconic fighters fighting tonight. Hartman, Morales, of course. Far more iconic than Hartman and the future icons like Tony Ali. Tony Ali swallowed my own tongue in the middle of saying Ali there. My zone versus Kota. Good first round for my zone. Been pretty spotless so far since we picked him off the free agent list. Ooh, and a knockdown. He was losing that round 5, but gets a knockdown. And now it's pretty much cruise control for my zone. He's the only guy with energy. See if we can beat up on Kota, and it looks like we are. Little fight back there from Kota in round 9, but it should be a decision for my zone. Only knockdown, won most of the rounds. Yep. Pretty wide unanimous decision victory there for the still undefeated Robbie Mizone. Saddam Williams starting off versus Dion Holt. A lot of American fighters for a card in Australia. And Saddam Williams, I've just got him stuck on pile-on pressure here. He's got Holt pretty much out of energy. Chases the finish, gets the knockdown, and the ref steps in and stops it. Saddam Williams now 7-0. And Tony Ali here against Elijah Rosario. Trying to go to 15-0. It looks like he's going to. I know I'm speaking crazy soon, but I love Tony Ali. I want to see him bounce back from that bad performance. Take some damage there in round 2. Let's go back to natural style. Woof. Barn burner of a round 3. Got Rosario's energy all the way down to 38%. And it's just going to be more chaotic craziness in round 4, but Ali still is ahead. Way more punches thrown by Rosario, but Ali staying in the lead of the fight. Proving the tougher fighter, and now he's just outlasted Rosario seemingly at this point. Rosario with a lot more ring rust and ring wear, and I think that's what betrayed him. Yeah, low takes punishment, low on the canvas, low stamina, and Tony Ali outlasts Elijah Rosario to get the stoppage. Would have liked to see the classic early round knockout from Ali, but that might fade more now that he's up in contender status. Speaking of contender status, it's Max Rice, who despite a limited skill set has managed to put together one of the more impressive careers of the entire save. And, you always wonder who those grinders are going to be, those guys that you can always put on an event and rely for an entertaining fight like the one we're watching right now, and that is certainly Max Rice. Rice needs to just go for broke here. And it's such a close fight. Do they give the win to Rice? No, they don't. That's nice to Mercado. Mercado did a lot of good work, but look at this. I don't know how many rounds he won. There were 3 rounds there that were just tied. And they decided to give the decision to the younger fighter, and it sucks that it's unanimous as well. At least I think it was unanimous. It was. They all said 97-96. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm mad for Max Rice. That's a bit of a BS loss. Hopefully, he's still a pretty well ranked fighter. And Carlos Patterson getting beat up by Abraham Love there in round 1, but comes back in round 2 and beats him up back. And round 3 is even. They tend to do that when they share the first 2 rounds. And then a big shot lands in round 4 and stops Abraham Love, the Casper Ghost, with his 14th straight knockout. Maybe that ghost name isn't so apt. He's clearly got some big power in his hands. Speaking of power in his hands, Robert Filippone, one punch KO. What did Jose Rocha show up for? Robert O'Block Filippone, dude. Robert O'Block Filippone. One punch, all you need, one shot. Florida versus Rocky Simpo. Florida. The entire state of Florida versus Rocky Simpo. 18 punches to 0 in round 1. That's not that bad for fighting the entire state of Florida. No, come on. It's Fred Morales. Round 4, Florida man Fred. We're going to go to the body with the Florida man. You know, we've already got every advantage in this fight. Let's just keep boxing. Doubt Florida man's going to find a way to lose this one. Gets a knockdown in round 9. We're going to pile on pressure in round 10. Try to put an emphatic end to get a stoppage here. Almost. But it's a wide unanimous decision win for Fred Morales. And impressive that Rocky Simpo managed to not get knocked out by Morales, but that may have been a matter of luck more than anything. Rico Hartman versus Good Luck Zuberi, one of the better names I've heard in this save so far. Ooh, and a one-punch KO by Hartman in round 2. I love Rico Hartman, man. Rico Hartman is a blast. He's been a fun fighter since we signed him in the amateurs. Big Rico Hartman guy. And Corey Barboza versus former... He contended for some kind of championship, I'm sure, Akateli Maya. I know he was the Asian champion for a long time, and now he's unconscious on the canvas because Corey Barboza, the 5'3" welterweight, just put him into traction with one punch. Corey Barboza has spark plug power. 5'3" super welterweight, and that power is very much translating against former world champions in a weight class so far out of his height and reach, it's not even funny. I love Corey Barboza as well. We have some awesome fighters right now, including Manuel Soto. Fighting out of the red corner, hailing from Buffalo, New York. His record 18 wins and 3 losses, with 17 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the WBC IBF Cruiserweight title challenger, Manuel Soto. And fighting out of the blue corner, hailing from Brisbane, Australia. The crowd gets louder even though I mispronounced Brisbane. They're all getting louder. He is the current reigning, defending WBC IBF Cruiserweight champion of the world, Nathan Goncalves. Here we go, boys. This is the chance of a lifetime for Manuel Soto. Flew all the way to Australia for this. Can he make up for all his misgivings in the ring? It's a knockdown in round 1 for Goncalves, the least powerful puncher. He's going to get big benefit on the scorecards from that as well. Soto's already worn down quite a bit of his energy here in round 2. But he wins round 2. And very little action from Goncalves in round 3. Let's go to the body. And that was a good round to go to the body. We initiate some action. But we don't necessarily lose the round. We step back to natural style. In round 5, we get a good start, but he just drops the round there at the end. Don't like that. We'll stay on natural style. It's another knockdown for Goncalves. I can kind of feel that coming. We're going to cover up in this round because you got to imagine Goncalves is going to pile on some pressure. And we do a good job counterpunching there and manage to get some damage. I'm going to look for KO right now. 13% energy left. I need him to try to find that big shot. We're not winning on points. We've been knocked down twice. Soto gets a knockdown. Oh, man. Yeah, we're watching this at a little slower of a speed. I think we pile on pressure. I don't think we go for broke. Maybe we plan our feet. Oh, that's so risky because he's got defensive skills. I think he'll outbox us if we plan our feet. I think we pile on pressure. It's not that smart against a good defensive fighter. But I think it's what we need to do. There's a power punch. Yeah, we need to chase some kind of a finish here. He's going to counter shot us, though. And yeah, he's got ring advantage too. That's not surprising, but he's the more damaged fighter, and it's big shots from Soto. He is chasing a finish here. Can he get the finish? 25 seconds. He was like a couple combos away, but he didn't get him. And I'm going to be on natural style because I think he'll chase the finish anyway. I'm very nervous. I'll put it on back on fastest just because I'm so nervous. We're not going to win on points if he doesn't get the finish. I have to go pile on pressure here. And now I'm going to do look for KO, not go for broke. Can Manuel Soto do it? I'm not going to go for broke because I don't want to get us counterpunched too much. Will this be a close fight on the cards? I need Soto to really try to get this KO right now. And he's not doing it. He gets a big power shot. It's not going to be enough to finish it. And I think that means we're probably going to lose on points to the champ. Oh, he's chasing it. 5 seconds left. Not quite. We win on the first scorecard. We win on the second scorecard. And new WBC IBF Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Manuel Soto. Buffalo, stand up, baby. You got a champ on your hands. Manuel Soto. Back-to-back championship fight wins, and that was one of the best. That was a banger of a cruiserweight title fight. I can't believe we got that decision, and it was wide on a couple scorecards. Admittedly, we did only get knocked down in close rounds, but I don't think that's how scoring works. We had to overcome a couple 10-8s there. And I think it speaks to just how in control of the fight Manuel Soto was the whole time. He really was in command when you look at it here. He only lost 3 rounds proper, and the 3 rounds he lost, 2 of them were the ones where he got knocked down, and even those were both close. So that was a great wire-to-wire performance by Soto, and I was really stressing him chasing the finish there, and he might not have needed to. It was also a couple more flash-like knockdowns. He got up at 3 and he got up at 4. But wide scorecards for Manuel Soto, who is a new world champion. And I feel like that's a borderline miracle given that we were fighting the defending champion. The scorecards normally don't go like that. You'd think that they would have done everything they could to favor Goncalves, but I guess the judges ringside made up their mind in a different way and decided that there was really no other way to see it other than Manuel Soto being a winner. The closest scorecard, only 3 rounds between Soto and Goncalves, a 7-round and a 5-round scorecard. Manuel Soto with a unanimous decision world title win. And we have 2 world champions in the stable now. At the same time, so much gold. So much gold all at once in this beautiful. You can't even see it. But you can see the Ring magazine right there and the 25 million fans for Andy Flick the Switch Fitch. What a career comeback for Andy Fitch, dude. What a career comeback for Andy Fitch in the super welterweight division. Never quit, never give up. Look at the KO streak. He got that nickname somehow. He got that nickname for a reason. You can argue that the guys he's been fighting up here aren't the strongest competition. I'm sure plenty of people think he's going to get knocked off this perch real quick, but we're going to enjoy it while we got it, huh? Andy Flick of the Switch Fitch. What an achievement. Now, Manuel Soto, right up next to him, can look to unify that cruiserweight title. Actually, first, let's take a look at the other cruiserweight belts. Ludwig Hoft, the current holder from Germany, against Dwayne Little, the former champion. This is a huge cruiserweight fight that might have a lot to do with Manuel Soto's future. Ludwig Hoft, a couple competitive first 2 rounds there, but Hoft pouring it on here in round 3 and round 4. Dwayne Little looks like he's in a lot of trouble. Yeah, and Ludwig Hoft is a force to be reckoned with here in the cruiserweight division. Now it's time for our event. Gabriel McCreary versus Brandon Guy selling out the Target Center in Minneapolis. Gabriel McCreary also from Minnesota. Is McCreary from Minnesota or is he from Wisconsin? Dude, we'll never know. He's from Wisconsin. I have no clue. I'm just a clueless idiot, all right? Don't listen to me about where any of my own fighters are from. Don't listen to me and definitely don't quiz me. And McCreary, for some reason, fighting in Minneapolis, even though he's from Wisconsin. Raul Williams starting off the undercard. 6-0 undefeated fighter from Queens. We know where he's from. 6-0 undefeated fighter from Ogden, Utah. This is a banger of a fight right now. These two guys are going at it. Williams the only guy with energy left. Now he doesn't. And I mean, I think the judges are just sitting back and watching this one, and they give it to Williams by 1 round, which that seems right to me. And it's a unanimous decision win for Raul Williams. No knockout this time for Williams. Speaking of knockouts, Furlano only knockout so far in the old career. That was a tough test for Furlano there, but he passes it with flying colors round 4, despite the challenge from Mayo. Took a lot of damage there in round 4, but ends up getting the stoppage for Furlano to advance to 4-0. Good young Canadian prospect. Norm Zuski fighting for the second time in the episode. 26 punch first round from a heavyweight. I do not envy Escreen Latoria right now from Frostproof USA. Is that in a really cold place or a really warm place? I would be equally unsurprised if that was in Florida or Minnesota. Steve Irvin, Maynard Edwards. I'm surprised this fight is in Minnesota. It shouldn't be. Steve Irvin, looking to avoid the 10th career loss here. I feel like Steve Irvin hasn't just quite hasn't taken off in the way a lot of our other fighters have. Yeah, and it's the 10th career loss for Edwards against Maynard Edwards. His own cousin, his own brother, knocks him out in the ring there. Yeah, I don't know about it from Steve Irvin right now. His chin's cracked. It's 3 losses in a row. We're not going to cut him from the roster. He needs a weight change, is really what he needs. He needs a weight change. They say that the weight change down is better, and I would tend to agree with that. He's 5'11". He'll have a tough time making weight at middleweight, but it's probably for the best. First off, it'll help him punch harder. He's a hard puncher. That's his primary thing, and he's a selective puncher. Don't know if it'll make the chin stronger, but being 5'11", you'd figure it would at a smaller weight, huh? So we're going to move Steve Irvin down to middleweight and see what he does in the middleweight division instead. He doesn't want to re-sign with us right now, though. He needs a win, and we should find him an easy win at middleweight. He's never been at middleweight before. He's been fighting his entire career at super middleweight. In hindsight, we probably should have moved him after the Badu-Cody fight or after the Helms knockout. That Edwards knockout was probably just a little bridge too far in the division. I think he's done here. And I don't mean just in the division. I mean in his career. I don't really see him ever being a title contender, even though he's only 28. 13 rank Q, 4 intelligence is not good. And the 2 chin. It just isn't looking good for the unnerving one. But he's going to move to a new weight class and see if he can give it the old college try. After Andy Fitch, man, anything is possible with what Andy Fitch has accomplished at this point. Mark Martinez versus Eduardo Alva. How many fights are on this card? It's a long card, man. Martinez versus Alva. Martinez looking to get to 9-1 against veteran Alva, and there's a big power shot. He took 10 punches to start round 3 and landed a big power shot there to start round 3, and Mark Martinez is 9-1. Michael Brandino versus Jacob Ali. Ooh, big power shot by Ali. And Brandino cruises to a win there despite the early knockdown, shakes it off, and pretty much beats up on Jacob Ali for the rest of the fight and gets the win to advance to 11-1. Ganaway versus Cartagena. Really great stuff from Ganaway there. 4-0. Dominant performance over Cartagena. Mitchell looking to go to 25-7 against Jackson. But Jackson, man, putting it on Mitchell early in the fight. Mitchell's going to have to cover up. Blood on his nose, blood on his right eye. And finally, the counterpunching works a little for Mitchell, but I still don't know what to do. I guess we're going to jab and move, but he's at 98%. He's probably getting stopped. Somehow manages to avoid getting stopped. 18 punches from Jackson, who's still just piling on the pressure shots. And we need to keep pressuring here. Mitchell finally has a chance to press himself. And he's managed to somehow stay in this fight. It's another round win. This has been such a gritty effort from Dangerous Darius. We're going to go back to jab and move again. I want to tire out Sean Jackson. That doesn't work at all. We just wasted the last of our energy. We probably should have piled on pressure, but he piles on pressure there without me asking him to. And we're going to pile on pressure in the last round. That was a great round 9 from Mitchell, who I think I would give this fight right now, but it's so many 20-plus punch rounds from Sean Jackson to influence these judges. Who's going to give more volume here in round 10 of what's been a crazy fight? Darius Mitchell. It's a draw on scorecard 1. It's fair. And it's a draw. Sean Jackson wins on 1 scorecard, but the judges decide to keep it a draw. Incredible effort there from Darius Mitchell. Incredible effort from Sean Jackson. Sean Jackson punched so much in that fight. It is hard not to give him a share of the decision. And look at the power punches early in the fight as well. I think that's pretty much fair. Actually, I'm not that mad about not winning that fight. Jose Edwards versus Kevin Cardenas, defensive specialist, and a big stamina and takes punishment advantage for Cardenas here too against Jose Edwards. Jose Edwards, there we go. Action-packed second round. Takes some damage in round 3. He's going to jab and move in round 4. And Edwards finally gets Cardenas down to the end of his gas tank, and he's got a chance to hunt the finish here. He doesn't, but he gets a wide unanimous decision. 25-5 for Jose Edwards as the climb back up the ranks in light heavyweight continues for Jose. And the headlining bout of the evening, Gabriel McCreary versus Brandon Guy. Only attribute Guy has on McCreary is that fight IQ. So we might see some clever round stealing tactics here from Guy. Big damage to McCreary. How about that? Big shots from Brandon Guy. Can we escape here? I'm going to keep calling him Guy instead of Guy. McCreary going to jab and move. That didn't work. We're such a better puncher than him. It is nuts that we're not winning this fight right now. Tough to say who won that round. Easy to say who won that round. Not us. We're going to cover up in this round as well. And the counterpunching works. And now we are going to have to frenetically pile on pressure for the last 2 rounds. And instead we get knocked down. And that just ticks me off. And we're going to go for broke in round 10. Don't know what other choice we have. We continue to get beat up, and Brandon Guy gets the finish. And that just doesn't make me happy. We kind of blew that one at the end there. That's not a good loss for McCreary. It's the kind of loss that, especially with his takes punishment being all... I mean, he was fighting a guy with low takes punishment, though, so I don't know what more you want. And that makes me worry about the future of McCreary's career. Don't know how he didn't lose his regional belt there. But his chin isn't too cracked still. And he did some okay work. He's got 4 fights left on his contract. So I guess it's not the end of the world for Gabriel McCreary. It's just the loss. It's just 1 loss. He had 6 of them already. All right, the last event of the video, it's the second Gervonta Williams event. And this time, I think we got his home state right. He's actually in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, instead of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we also got Todd Lopez, Abraham Tovar, Phil Green, Carbajal, Forbes, Cusimano, Tyner, and DeAlba fighting on this card. In front of a sold-out venue, DeAlba. First round KO, almost 30 punches. Hell yeah. Gerald DeAlba from Atlanta up to 3-0. Francisco Tyner making his debut. I believe we signed him out of the amateurs from Elma, New York. A bit of a rough start here, but he's got more energy. A little battered there in round 5. Let's try to finish this in round 7. And there you go. Francisco Tyner, 1-0. Cusimano looking for a win, recovering from that loss. Crazy first round. He's just fighting down to the level of the competition until round 3, where he steps up and gets the KO. And Cusimano beats Angelo Sierra. Eric Forbes versus Marco Tia. Even stuff here early on so far. Forbes with the better work, though. And there we go. Round 4 and round 5 belong to Forbes. Gets a knockdown in round 5. Dominates round 6. Takes round 7. Round 8 as well. Very one-sided fight, as you can hear. And Forbes up to 5-0 with his 4th consecutive knockout there in round 9. Marco Tia, really no shot. Round out the prelims, it's Sean Carbajal looking to improve to 3-0 over Jaime Bustos, 11-loss fighter from Chile who lands a big power shot on Carbajal and damages him. Don't like seeing Carbajal get damaged that easy. His takes punishment is only a 7, though, but he gets a win there. 3-0. Phil Green versus MacBoot Whitboy at heavyweight. Was MacBoot Whitboy a heavyweight before? I kind of feel like he was a cruiserweight before. Phil Green's always been a heavyweight, though, and because he's a heavyweight, we're going to look for the KO here on MacBoot Whitboy. And instead, we get knocked down first, and then we get right back up, smack him on the face, and knock him out. Ice cold, baby. How's that for a win from Phil Green? Little counter punch. It was a counter punch, except he was counter punching his own knockdown. He got up right off the deck and then one punch KO'd him. Hell yeah. Smoke that, you. Tovar looking to go to 5-0. Looking, being the word that I'm emphasizing, because this random dude named Levon Colvin, who he signed up to lose, is beating the crap out of him for some reason. Abraham Tovar has absolutely no solution to this, to Levon Colvin. This is a... I don't understand what this is, but he's brutally getting his ass kicked right now. Even jab and move didn't work. There, we get a knockdown on look for KO. We're going to cover up for a round and hope we don't die. We're going to smother inside for another round. And in the last 2 rounds, we're going to fight like a psychopath. We're going to look for the KO in the first one. And then we're going to go for broke in the last one. But Abraham Tovar's undefeated record is somehow going to be a thing of the past, despite his 20 punch power, 20 defensive skills, and 20 aggression against this random dude named Levon Colvin. Yeah, great. Oh, he got knocked out. Even better. All right, well, I don't really understand that one, but okay. Todd Lopez, another undefeated fighter. Is he about to get beat up by some random dude as well? I mean, this guy can at least punch a little bit. We got to be at least a little careful with him. And apparently he was the one who needed to be careful with us, because Todd Lopez is now 12-0 with 12 knockouts as a bantamweight. He's only got 11 punch power also. Sometimes there's just dudes who just have magical punch power. They don't have punch power in the game's attributes, but when you simulate the fights, they have punch power. And it seems like we got one of those on our hands with Todd Lopez. And punch power is one of the only things Todd Lopez is bad at. So if that's not actually a real gap that he has, he's could be one of the best bantamweights on the planet. Speaking of one of the best on the planet, it's Servano Williams, who's going to eat the entire planet, starting with Mohammed Benton. In what should be the last fight of the night. There's a knockdown. Don't like that. Williams gets up at the count of 7. I don't think that's the first knockdown for Williams in the whole career. But it's concerning. We're still winning the fight. And we're just kind of on cruise control now. Huge round there. Let's jab and move a bit. And man, I mean, Benton is just hitting us, man. This is another level up in the heavyweight division for Gervonta Williams. It's a test for sure. And let's pile on pressure here at the end of the fight, and we probably should get a unanimous decision win. 96-93, 97-92, and 96-93 for the winner by unanimous decision. Gervonta Williams, who overcomes that early knockdown. Probably the weakest performance of his career. Took a little more damage than I would like, but it steps up its levels to this game, and it's another win for Gervonta Williams, and it's a very successful episode. Definitely the first episode where we've won 2 championships in the same episode. And Andy Fitch, once again, the undisputed champion of the world at super welterweight. The best moment of the save so far, best win of the save so far, from 0-3 to title fights to 3-3 in title fights. What more do you want? And I'm sure everyone is eager to see the future of Andy Fitch. So tune in next time for more Boxing Manager.